Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelenskyy has announced that officials from Ukraine, Russia, and the United States will hold their first-ever trilateral meetings on Friday and Saturday in Abu Dhabi, as Washington intensifies efforts to end Russia's war on Ukraine. Speaking after talks with U.S. President Donald Trump at the World Economic Forum, WEF, in Davos on Thursday, Zelenskyy said the terms of security guarantees for Ukraine had been finalized and that an agreement on post-war economic recovery was close to completion. The recovery plan is a key part of Kyiv's proposals and is seen as a counter to an earlier U.S. draft viewed as favoring Moscow. Zelenskyy described the upcoming UAE talks as the first trilateral meeting between the three countries, calling the development positive. There was no immediate response from Russia regarding the proposed negotiations. Trump characterized his meeting with Zelenskyy as good but said efforts to end the war remained an ongoing process. Earlier, U.S. envoy Steve Witkoff said significant progress had been made and that negotiations were now focused on resolving a single remaining issue. "I think we've got it down to one issue, and that means it's solvable," Witkoff told an audience at the WEF in Davos. Witkoff and Trump's son-in-law, Jared Kushner, later traveled to Moscow for talks with Russian President Vladimir Putin, before heading to Abu Dhabi, where discussions are expected to continue through military-to-military working groups. Zelenskyy said the UAE meetings would mark the first time U.S., Russian and Ukrainian officials sit together in the same negotiations. After meeting Zelenskyy, Trump said his message to Putin was clear: the war in Ukraine must end. Zelenskyy described the talks with Trump as productive and substantive, adding that key documents were now better prepared. Addressing the WEF, Zelenskyy called for international prosecution of Russian President Vladimir Putin and criticized European allies for failing to use frozen Russian assets to support Ukraine's defense. Despite diplomatic momentum, major obstacles remain. Zelenskyy has previously identified disputes over occupied territories and control of the Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant as key sticking points. NATO Secretary-General Mark Rutte praised Trump's peace efforts but stressed that Ukraine still needs military support as Russian missile and drone attacks continue. This week, strikes left large parts of Kyiv without electricity and heating amid sub-zero temperatures. The Abu Dhabi talks come amid ongoing fighting, underlining the challenges facing efforts to bring Europe's largest conflict since World War II to an end.